Introduction to Coaching and Mentoring, 5 practical tools which I'm going to share with you over 20 minutes less than I was expecting. I won't in any way compromise quantity or quality of what you get. I'll just speak faster and it'll work faster. So that's me with my introduction slide. Most important thing you probably need to know is this. Although I'm one of these kind of consultant people, I still teach. I teach regularly, foundation stage, right the way up to year 13, just to kind of keep my tools sharp. But as well as that, I'm executive coach and video coach. The only other important thing you need to know is probably there, thinkingclassroom.co.uk. That's where all the free stuff is. Has anyone signed up to that website still? Wow, that's 3 more than normal. Is it any good? Yeah, thank you. Every month you get new stuff mailed out here. There's a back catalogue of about 10 years worth of generic teaching materials. So a foundation stage teacher could use it. Secondary school, university could use the same ideas. All there, free. Sign up here at the end if you want to get all access to that stuff. That's all the books that I wrote. That's the website. This is the integrated sequence of 4 workshops on offer today. Has anyone signed up for all of them? Oh, just you and me, is it? For the whole day? Right. Anyone coming to any of the others? Okay, I've tried to design them so like the best trilogies going, there's 4 of them. You can come to any one as a standalone, but if you come to any combination of them, you'll still get value. So you will be the test of whether that works. So in this first one, I'd like to introduce coaching and mentoring. Bearing in mind there's probably quite a diversity of experience and expectation around not only this workshop but also what coaching and mentoring is. The idea is you go away with 5 things you can do, or 5 things you can park, or 5 things you can ignore. Totally up to you. Ideas that you can use if it meets your context. That was brilliant what Becky said. Were you in the keynote with a coffee? It's really coffee or keynote, isn't it? This morning. Brilliant. Find schools of a similar context, not a better context, to go and work with. That's a brilliant thing to say. Likewise, in coaching and mentoring, when you're learning to do that, find people in a similar context, not a better context. Kind of respects the spirit of one human being working alongside another. So, first challenge for you is based on a series of images. This is just for you to have an informal discussion, either with the people next to you, or if you kind of like working on your own, just talk to the voices in your head, like me, that's fine. Here are some images. Which image, for you, best represents coaching? Have a think, have a chat, a couple of minutes, go.
Yeah, I think in an ideal world it would be the top left, but the reality is it ends up right at the bottom right. Otherwise that's the after image, so it's like a sequence.
Rather than ask you individually, when I move my finger across these, and when my finger gets to the image that you personally thought best represented coaching, you're allowed to indicate your preference by clapping once. This goes wrong in kind of year 5, in year 9. The once bit isn't heard. It's taken to pieces before it's built up to quite a powerful assessment tool.
Are we allowed to clap more than once if we do 2 representatives?
Of course we are. Yes. that in the best traditions of coaching, yes, if that works for you. All of them, it's a great idea. But only when now we're going to when your finger approaches the image, is in the centre of the image. That's 3 claps, isn't it? You were allowed 18 claps. So kind of, I'll move fairly fast. So it's like kind of the 1 clap when the 1 or more that represents. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Can you do that one again?
So we have a little centre. So we had a great chat. We agreed. I thought I wouldn't be on my own.
When it came to it.
Yeah. Bottled it.
Kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm that bloke there.
As with the best traditions of picking up a piece of music, should we start from here? Finishing up. Okay, just to be sure, let's go back the other way. 3, 2, 1, go. It's interesting, isn't it? We've got a way of expressing not just 1 or 2 things, but I'm just wondering, in that we had to do that kind of thing last week, didn't we? What would it have been like if we leave there, remain there, but arrange in the middle? So around the UK, in town halls, on playing fields, big screens, and there's someone going like that. You just have to clap when your opinion is, that would be that. You just record it with a loud, maybe not Article 50. That shows very quickly, it's a tool you can use in class as well, once the children are trained to do it, to get an opinion quite quickly. And it basically shows in diversity is our strength. We've got a range of views, and they're all right for different reasons. Coaching might be this at some point, it might be this, rarely. And it might even be this kind of family therapy or group coaching. Just switching the question very quickly. A 1-minute chat.
So I think that's the image on the far right. Far right, top right, yeah. So we said mentor is like someone who's good at something to mean someone who's not so good at how to do it, rather than coaching the same way.
I almost thought what the image before was similar to that.
Yeah.
It looks like the woman. I don't know.
One of them's telling someone, and the other one's either listening and about something they're wrong, or they're listening and going, oh,
Thank you very much. So, same pictures, slightly different prompt, and in fact, a good way of getting some pretty quick lesson starters as well. Same series of images, just change the prompt. Which image best represents collaboration, group work, thinking, aspiration? I don't know, you change the prompt, same pictures, you get a valuable discussion. Did anyone change their choice? How did you change it, Maria?
So I've gone from the 2 people facing each other to the group.
Good, grand. Anyone else change their choice? Yeah.
The top right up the hill to one next to it. The 2 people facing
This one
each
to the
other.
next one, okay. This is where most workshops I run on coaching and mentoring unravel, when most of the rest of the time is spent defining the difference between coaching and mentoring. And by this point, thank you so much, by this point someone has usually publicly challenged me about the definition of coaching and mentoring. And there's kind of a way around this. In the spirit of coaching and mentoring, it's that way round. It's actually saying instead of one or the other, there is actually a spectrum between the two. And this is a first draft definition of what they might be. But I'll take you further, away from even the possible polarisation of coaching versus mentoring, to a way of describing both and everything in between. So potentially this is what the research would say, it's what people who've been trained would say, that coaching is more about facilitating and drawing out and asking and guiding. And mentoring is more hierarchical nature to it, where someone knows something you don't yet, but they're not kind of making you do it, they're motivating you to do it and maybe suggesting more so than a coach. In fact, one of the tools I'll give you is a sheet for planning with your coachee or mentee or anyone you're working with, to actually at the beginning of the session ask them what kind of support they'd like. Because quite often we decide whether it's coaching or mentoring or something in between. One of the best starting points for coaching and mentoring is to ask the person you're working with. Do they want to be told or ask? So I'm suggesting we move it on to something called paired professional learning. A bit of a generalisation. I did some generalisation work. Those of you who come to the questioning workshop will find out what generalisations, deletions and distortions are in language. That doesn't really mean anything. Generalisations, deletions and distortions. I analysed one of Michael Gove's speeches for generalisations, deletions and distortions. There was a lot of bread on it, and it ended up, there was nothing in the speech at all that you could grasp. As soon as you started analysing it, there was nothing there. So, paired professional learning, it's rather than going, is it coaching or mentoring, it's saying, how do we want to work together? So, we'd ask this question, what do we actually want to achieve? Whether it's 3 people working together, 2, 4, whatever. Let's say it's 2. Coach, coachee, mentor, mentee, whatever we call it. 2 people who've been tasked to help one of them, the group. What do we want to achieve? Who is involved and how? How will the work take place? And in what context will we work? Instead of saying, is it coaching or mentoring, define what it is for you by answering those 4 questions with the person with whom you're working. Let's try this out with this. Let's imagine you're helping a child to learn to walk. And it's a talking child. That's okay. It's kind of a very imbalanced growth. It can talk like an adult. That helps. This is pretend, but so you have a conversation, paired professional learning, and you want this human being to be able to walk. So if you were having this pretend discussion, what kind of things would be said if you were trying to set up support with this person here? Have a chat. Go.
And we're working as soon as I'm done, you're done. Yeah. And it does mean that we'll be able to
Back together again. 5, 10, 4, 3, 1, and 0. Primary school teacher. Got loads of tricks like that up my sleeve. Right. Any kind of thoughts about what the conversation might include? What kind of things would be
So talk about the first one, what do we want to achieve? If this was a conversation, would you just talk about the end point and say, well, we want you to walk, or is it going to be standing up and then walking a certain amount of steps?
Brilliant. So in your conversation with with the coachee, you establish that, yeah, that baby, yeah. So yeah, absolutely, that could be quite a different conversation itself. They're talking about what we see and hear and feel when you've reached the point that you want to. Is it to walk, even maybe not as detailed as it wants to be. Job as a coach would be to unpick it. Good answer, effective answer, thank you. Anyone attack the second one?
So I guess through discussion you would establish the roles
Mm.
and have that sort of groundwork in place before you start
Absolutely.
what each person's going to bring to it.
Well, yeah, whether it's the one-hand or two-hand approach,
And how much help's given.
absolutely.
Whether a crash
Have
helmet will be worn.
walking aid with the bricks, with yeah. Who is involved now? So, how will the work take place? 9 o'clock every morning? Yeah.
We kind of talked about the idea that we'll probably be asking for the same thing the whole way through, that we're going to get from A to B.
Okay.
But discuss the idea that you as a coach or a mentor of the person holding the hands will be doing less and less as time goes on. So the outcome remains the same, but your input changes.
Super. So at this point, even before the work has actually begun, you've got an expectation that the roles will change over time. Good job. In what context will we work?
The garden. The house. Park.
Is that-
Yes.
Job done. The garden farmhouse, correct. There's some data for Becky. Data pipe. Absolutely.
Is it about when the people involved, the baby, will want to do the work because it's up to them? Because if he or she doesn't want to start walking, then it's not happening today.
You're right, we've got the where, the when, time and space, absolutely. And the duration as well, and whether we can move between places. When I do my kind of executive coaching with head teachers, it's really a choice between Gloucester and Starbucks, because it has to be off-site, basically because of the interruptions. But in terms of context, it's the where, the when, it's the how. Just realise that I hope you, if you want to, get access to the video of this. I know in the school it's going to be uploaded to ours. I'm certain at the moment is potentially most of it is going to be in the back of your head.
No, it's cool. You can, yeah.
Oh, it's got the lights better.
So it's the back of Pedram and the back of Kira's head, and maybe something's in that, but that's
it's parallel, isn't it?
just don't.
I moved
I'm just
it.
going to move it a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Stop looking at us.
Those 4 questions, not often time to do it, but if you're really going for this in a big way, either as a department or a whole school, before any coaching work starts, or mentoring work, or paired professional learning, whatever you end up calling it, recommend without exception the idea of contracting. It's probably the wrong word, but it's the word that seems to be around in coaching circles. It's more like a memorandum of understanding rather than a legally binding document. It's what we as a group of professionals agree for now are the rules and behaviours around our coaching work. And it gives everyone a chance at the beginning to express their expectations, their concerns, and their thoughts about how it can work. So these are the kind of questions that I would recommend a department or a school ask themselves and then get answered and formalised provisionally before any coaching starts. So what are the rules and boundaries around our coaching? It gives you a chance to put trust, confidentiality, is this performance management or not? It gets everything out in the open. And then every half term, every term, you review it. But what I like to do is at the beginning of every individual coaching session, have a quick check that the person I'm working with is okay with the whole school contract. That contract can be a bit off-putting. The Americans call it norm setting the norms of behaviour and coaching, which I think is a more appropriate word. But again, whatever you call it, it's the idea that there's a shared agreement from the professional learning community about what's going to happen and why we're doing it. Now, the kind of contracting light, LIT version is this. How would you like to work together? What would you like to work on? Simple as that. I'd start any coaching session with a quick check about the whole school contract and then this. And this kind of frames what I'd like us to have a go at, really, because any session you do, I recommend it has kind of a structure there, beginning, middle and end. And kind of the rest of this time I'd like to give over to you to try out some coaching. This isn't role play, I've said it, it's not role play, it is not role play. It's pretend exploring of a situation to see how it feels. It's role play, isn't it? Yeah. I've got a form here. This is kind of generic coaching, mentoring, paraprofessional learning form. And I build these up with my coaches, mentees, people I'm working with over the days, weeks, months, as a record of what happens. I'd like to quickly take you through it and then give you an opportunity either to try it out with someone or just discuss it. It's totally up to you, whether you try it out in earnest or just kind of evaluate it. But the first bit is at the top. I'll switch into kind of lecture mode for about 5 minutes, is that okay? Do you want to adopt a lecture pose? Like that. That's the one, brilliant. So admin at the top, date, teacher, coach, focus. That's all done. First bit, check the coaching contract. So relentlessly go back to that. All the problems I find in schools when coaching or mentoring is broken down is when either there isn't a contract or it's just been done, word processed and filed. It's not a live and living document. The rules, behaviours, boundaries need to always be at the forefront around coaching and mentoring. Check the contract. Discuss the style of working. More important at the first session, but if you're learning to do something for the first time, you may want more mentoring. As you begin to get to grips with it, you may want to move this slider more towards coaching. What it does though is say the style of working is flexible depending on where you are. And as your relationship with the person you're working with grows, whatever they're doing, it may naturally move towards this end. I often say that there's as much skill in learning to be coached as there is in being a coach. And you may need to bring, is that fire or?
Excessively long.
Yeah, I've got to double check then. So that would be the first part of this discussion. Very, very quick pre-brief. Then these two kind of old-fashioned dials. This one here is define the intended speed of impact on your practice. So you put it on the agenda that stuff has to happen, but your coachee, mentee, person you're working with can decide for themselves how fast they want to do it. They may have been told to sort something out quick. They ramp it round to 10. They may just be doing something out of professional interest, and let's have it around 2 or 3 so there's time to think. They don't know what 1 to 10 are. It's for you to work out with your coachee. You find the kind of challenge you want, low, medium or high. Some people I work with right the way around to high, because they've quite lost their way a bit, they're a bit bored, they just want something to get to grips with. Some folks whose plates are rather full, keep it low, please. The final bit of it is to track the learning stages. Finding out, preparing, first time, routine, refining, adapting, next, focus. The assumption is that here's something to do in your coaching and mentoring, you can do it or you can't. This is a process for actually tracking how well you've learned to do it, rather than whether you've learned to do it. It's inspired by something called CBAM, the Concerns-Based Adoption Model, which we'll be doing in the final session today. It's more strategic. It basically says, as teachers are learning to do something new, they are concerned about different things. And as leaders and coaches, we have to respect what people's concerns are. First level is, either I don't know or I don't care. And we need to respect that. Top level is, I've cracked it. I'm concerned with finding something new. There's more about this in session 4 today. Middle 3 parts of this. What impact do you want for your learners in terms of learning outcomes or generally? That's preparation discussion. What kind of coaching or mentoring would you like? Clarifying what you've just done up there. And what you're actually learning to do. Is it behaviour management? Is it high-level questioning? Is it interest in the classroom? What is it? Is it subject specific? And then the session takes place, whether it's live coaching with video, whether it's watching a video, whether it's in classwork, whether it's just a discussion there and then, face-to-face, whatever it is, afterwards, very quickly, brief it. What are we going to do next and how? I commend that to you, something that I can give you the word version of this so you can knock it around yourselves. But it seems to encapsulate everything that coaching, mentoring, professional learning session might need. So in the time we've got left, well, 10 minutes of that, I'd like to give you the opportunity to play around with this idea. I would recommend kind of having a go with someone else. If someone genuinely wants to bring and is prepared to bring a professional learning challenge to you, try it out guided by this, because it kind of is a framework that does your thinking for you to begin with.